Hi, this is Spencer. Thanks for tuning in with Synthesis.net. When Ed Harcourt came to the United States in March to do a little promotional tour, we had a chance to talk with him for a second. He's going to be releasing his new album, The Beautiful Lie, on Dovecote Records on June 3rd. Please enjoy the interview.
You know, I meant to look it up, but Ed, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay.
Yeah. 30. I'm 31 in August this year, so.
Very good.
Yeah, I've been doing this stuff for 8 years.
Well, this was before then, didn't you? When you first recorded?
Yeah, I was still doing. Making music since I was like 16, but I guess I've been releasing my own records since 2000. Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of trials and tribulations.
Mm-hmm. I remember actually one of my first assignments for Synthesis was a review of Here Be Monsters.
Oh right. Uh-oh.
Do you still play much material like that's a little bit older? From
yeah,
the
of
back
course.
catalog?
Yeah, I mean tonight, like we're doing the gig tonight. Probably going to play like 2 or 3 songs from the album, and then 2 songs from the second album, 3 songs from the third, and then like 5 songs from The Beautiful Lie. So I've got to cram it into 45 minutes, unfortunately. Like I usually play for like an hour and a half.
Is that a challenge for you to readjust how you would typically do it with a shorter set list?
Yeah, it's harder because there's just a lot of songs, and I've released a lot of tracks over the years. Like I've done there's a lot of unreleased stuff that's been released sort of just as a result of the labels that I've been on, kind of going, oh, he's got all these songs, why don't we use this as a kind of a marketing tool. It's just a way of kind of like, they get so much from me, they kind of milk me like I don't know.
You know what was kind of funny? I got your greatest hits album, maybe about a year half back or so. And, I was listening to it and I was not recognizing a few of the tracks. And then when I got A Beautiful Lie last week, I went, wait a minute. So I was able to hear the songs that were on Beautiful Lie released on your greatest hits album before it was actually released stateside.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about how this whole happened, where Beautiful Lie was released in Europe 2 years before it was released?
Yeah, 2 years ago. Well, basically what happened was Beautiful Lie, I made it 3 years ago. It came out in 2006, and I kind of toured, did a few tours around Europe and England, and then America were just kind of like, the whole industry at that point was completely shifting and changing, and it was the sort of the crisis moment in the industry, which I think is starting to kind of settle now, hopefully. God, I'm sounding like a fucking A&R man, but sorry for the swearing.
No, we let swearing go. Okay. This is on the internet.
I'm sounding like, demographically speaking, they just didn't want to release it. I don't know why. They just didn't want to. They weren't interested. So he just sort of laid on the shelves, America-wise, for 2 years, and then Carter came in from Dovecote and just, thankfully, was a fan, and they were like, well, we'll release it. What's happening with, they were like, what's happening with the record? Why hasn't it got a stateside release? So, yeah, I guess, my luck kind of lifted a little bit.
What was it about Carter and Dovecote that made you feel comfortable working with him?
Well, it was recommended by Steve Nice, who's manages me in the US, who's been a real firm supporter and a really good friend for like the last 6 years, since I was on my first record was on Capitol, and he worked on Capitol, and he's just kind of recommended Carter, and I kind of pretty much trust him with anything he says, and we're very honest and straightforward with each other, so. And they just seemed like a really good label, really, to be honest. It's the same kind of attitude and approach to records and music, same taste.
So it was almost like more of a personality thing that drew you to him?
Well, I only met Carter today for the first time, but we emailed him. To be honest, I just sort of, it's a meeting of minds, really. I'm just happy to get the record out as well, and they just seem very hands-on and just very cool,
A moment ago, you kind of recoiled in horror when you found yourself sounding like an A&R guy.
No, I mean, I don't.
Or at least considering the business aspect of music.
Like, because you have to separate the artistic, the aesthetic side to the business side, and I hate talking about, like, you know, anything that's like sort of business minded, even though I have to, especially in an interview. It just sounds so like I don't know.
But honestly, like, it's something you have to consider as an artist, especially now. It seems even more than in the last 10 years.
I mean, so many artists are now, you know, taking everything to their own hands and doing it themselves. And to be honest, I don't think it really matters, major label-wise, what label you're on anymore. They're kind of finished. It's sort of over for them. Loads of really, really amazing artists and bands are being dropped from major labels. It's probably going to be the best thing that happens to them, you know, because ultimately they will have, like, built up a fan base as a result of the huge amount of money that has been pumped into their promotional campaign, and then they'll build up that fan base and then take the fan base with them when they go and do it themselves, you know, and they'll be able to actually creatively make more decisions. And so, but then again, at the same time, you need someone from the outside you always need that one person to you know, stand outside. It's harder for you to stand outside your own music, you know, what you've written, and they go, that's good, that's, you know, that's stronger, that's not so good, you know.